So this is my digital nomad update. This is month 6 of being a digital nomad, which has just been so fun and challenging, as I say every single time. So let's see, we've been so many places this last month. I can't even really summarize it all. It would take forever, but we've just been all over the place. Hi, I'm Kim Tolson and I'm the traveling therapist. It's my passion to teach therapists how to navigate online private practices and multiple income streams so they can travel the world. I'm a digital nomad with a virtual insurance-based private therapy practice and a multi-six-figure coaching business. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and developing tools that can help therapists live an adventurous lifestyle. In this podcast, I will discuss my journey as a digital nomad. I'll chat with other traveling therapists and help you navigate the complexities of running an online insurance-based practice. I'm so glad to have you with me on this journey. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Traveling Therapist Podcast. So this is my digital nomad update. This is month 6 of being a digital nomad, which has just been so fun and challenging, as I say every single time. So let's see, we've been so many places this last month. I can't even really summarize it all. It would take forever. But we've just been all over the place. We started in Virginia. We had left Asheville and then traveled to Virginia at the end of the last episode where I gave you my update. We went to Virginia to visit our families. Ken hadn't seen his family since the pandemic started back in 2020. This is the first time he'd seen his mom, sister, and dad in person since that started. So, we thought it was really important since we were heading up north to stop there for a while and say hi to everybody. Okay, so we've been traveling around a lot, but we really are starting to feel the cost of these Airbnbs that we're staying in. It's like, yikes, like when I sit down to really try to calculate everything and how much we're spending. So I'm not even going to get into how much, but let's just say it's more than if we were renting a place, probably even on the oceanfront down in Florida. So, it's starting to maybe not make sense the way we're doing it right now. So we just had a talk today actually about maybe we need to restructure this a little bit, figure out a better way to do it because it is costing a lot of money. And then, in the midst of our conversation, we always come back to, yeah, but we're having so much fun. I don't know if we want to change what we're doing. So we're trying to figure out a better way to do stuff. This last month was a bit of an anomaly for us because we stayed with family and we were able to save some money. So we didn't have to pay, basically half the month of August to stay in Airbnbs. We stayed with my sister at my sister's house. We stayed with my dad. So, that cut down some costs a lot. But today we were actually sitting and calculating our expenses and it was like, oh my God, this is maybe not the best idea. I mean, we're affording it. We're not going into debt. Obviously, we pay our credit cards off every month, but it's like, gosh, is this the smartest way to be, spending our money? And like I said, we usually come back to, well, it's a lot of fun. So I guess as long as we can afford it for right now, we're going to keep trying to figure out how to do this. If anyone has a better strategy, I know there's ours camping, but Ken's definitely never going to want to do anything like that. He definitely wants to be in a house with modern amenities and that sort of thing. I think I'd like an RV where we could just go around and stay in different RV parks. But even that, from what I understand, is challenging to find space in the premium RV lots versus RV lots that are further out away from places you like to really travel to. And I'm not sure if that's true. That's just what I've heard. So if anybody has advice for us, I would love to hear it because we're really enjoying this hopping around. It just gets expensive. In October and November, we did already book a month in both places that we're going to stay down in Florida. We decided, with Airbnb, when you book a place, it's not the original price that you see there. It's the price. And then once you go through to complete your purchase or, confirm your stay, all of a sudden there's service fees, there's cleaning fees, there's state taxes, they're all tacked on. So sometimes that can be almost $1,000 more than what you thought the price was going to be. So it is cost prohibitive if you're trying to do this. We really have tried to narrow this down to a science, like finding Airbnbs that have, around this certain price range, around $100, $110 a night, and then have the reduced fees because not all of these places tack these fees on. I think it's just a strategy a lot of the Airbnbs are using. So they'll show you a lower price up front, and then they'll just tack on the service fee. I don't know. I don't know if they have control over that or not, but it seems like that's like a way to make it up in the back end almost for them. So we're seeing this more and more. It's becoming cost prohibitive. If anybody has any ideas, let us know because we're happy to try something else. But as I was saying, Airbnb does give you a significant discount if you book for a month at a time. So for October and November down in Florida, where we want to be for the winter, we have booked a month on the East Coast and a month on the West Coast. So we're really happy with where we're going. They are almost oceanfront places, so they are expensive, but we saved almost $1,500 in both places because we booked that month out. So if you do that, you do get a big discount. I hope that helps somebody if you're thinking about all of this Airbnb stuff. Okay, let's see. So let me update you guys on where we've been. So we started the month in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's where Ken's father lives. We never would have probably visited there unless we were visiting him there, but we had a good time. We stayed about a week. We got to see his father and his stepmother quite a few times. And we explored, we always find hiking trails, state parks. There are so many beautiful places in Lynchburg. It's a really nice city. We did find this really fun place called Liberty Mountain Snowflex Center where you can ski year round. So I don't really know what the purpose is. Maybe it's to help people train in the summer months if that's what they want to do. But you go to this place and it's up on a big hill in Lynchburg and you can see the slopes in the background. So it is outside and it was about 90 degrees when we were doing this. But the snow slopes are made of this white astroturf that are like kind of wet. So you just rent your skis like you would at a ski lodge if you guys are familiar with skiing. I grew up skiing, so I'm pretty used to that. But you rent your skis, you go out, there's a bunny slope where you can practice on this artificial turf. You can, go down the hill, and then they have they're not chair lifts like your traditional snow resort, but it's like these things you just stand on. They're basically conveyor belts that take you back up to the top of the hill, which I prefer because I hate heights. That's one thing I hate about skiing is the chairlifts. They terrify me. But these were just conveyor belts. You stood on them and they took you to the top of the mountain and you would just ski down. So I did the intermediate slope and the beginner slope. I was too scared to do the expert like black diamond slope, which I don't do when I ski for real either. It was pretty fun. We had a good day. I think we paid like $25 each. We got the ski rentals and they had like an Olympic-sized trampoline and they also had snow tubing, which was terrifying. These tubes were like super long. They started at the top of the mountain and went all the way down to the bottom. You just, get your basic inner tube, you go to the top, you hop on, and they kind of give you a push down this hill. It's also sort of artificial snow on this tube track that you go down, but it was so scary. It was so fast. If you follow me on TikTok, I put some videos of me literally screaming all the way down the hill. It was involuntary. I wasn't doing it like to be funny or dramatic. Like screams were coming out of my body because it was terrifying. It was so fast. I didn't expect it to be that fast. And you just kind of spin all the way down. So check that out if you want to laugh. But it was fun. If you're ever in Lynchburg, Virginia, I would say go check that place out. It was pretty fun. I had a good time. And in the winter, it's probably even better because they have like a ski lodge type thing and fireplaces and all that inside. It's really cute. So I would say check that out. So what else have we been doing? So we left there and we went to Williamsburg, Virginia. That's where my dad lives. So he recently downsized. He's getting older. I don't know if you guys have been through this with your parents, but they, he used to have a nice, great big house and he took care of everything, but he's getting older. They finally decided to downsize to this like 55 plus community. It's super nice. We went over there. They have pools and pickleball and pool tables and a rec room where my dad can go play pool with people, which is great for him because he loves that. So we stayed there and I did invite my sisters, my nephews, my high school college roommate. We all just love to get together when we can. So it was just a big fun girls weekend with the family. My nephews, Ken, he stayed there. He tends to run out of people minutes, so he is really good at being able to like kind of go off on his own and kind of recharge and then come back and join us when he can tolerate us because I don't know about you guys, but family dynamics can be a little crazy. I have fun with it, but it can be a little bit much. Like, sisters, we argue, we, get on each other's nerves even over a weekend. It's like we kind of revert back to our teenage years a little bit. So it was fun, but 4 or 5 days of that is enough for me. Even just visiting, staying at my dad's house, you just get older and it's not the same. So we did that. And then one of my sisters, was actually leaving on that Monday to go out of town for 2 weeks. And she has this gorgeous house in Chesapeake, Virginia with a pool in the backyard. Like, I don't know, it's like 5 bedrooms or something. So we were like, hey, can we just like house sit for you? So we ended up going to her house for a couple weeks and just staying there for free. Thankfully, let us catch up on our bills a little bit with all these Airbnbs we've been paying for. So we get to crash there. But it turns out on her vacation, they contracted COVID. So they had to come back early. We were like, oh crap, what are we going to do now? So, we had an Airbnb booked in this random town in West Virginia called Gandyville, West Virginia. We literally booked it because it was super cheap. It was $84 a night. It was on an 80-acre farm. It looked beautiful. So we were like, okay, we're just gonna rent this place. But then my sister Amy decided, she had to come back obviously because she had COVID. She was like, we'll quarantine in the bedroom. We were like, no, we're not even gonna be remotely exposed to that. So luckily we messaged the Airbnb person and said, is there any way we could come early to this place we rented? And she was like, yes, absolutely. Come on, there's nobody renting before you. So luckily that worked out perfectly. We were able to leave Amy's and we drove to Gandyville, West Virginia, which, I've never heard of it. I don't think I'll ever go back there, but it was really beautiful. And it turns out it was about an hour and a half from where I went to college in Huntington, West Virginia. I went to Marshall University for my undergrad. Totally random, I know. I just ended up there, loved it. But I hadn't been back in 20 years. And one of my college roommates, the one that had just visited at my dad's house, lives in Huntington, West Virginia still. So I was like, oh my God, we're like an hour and a half from you. How fun is that? So we got to go up there one day. We hung out with Tanya. We went out to dinner. We walked all around the campus. We just sort of reminisced about all the, crazy places and things that we did. The bars we went to when we were, freshmen and underage, and they would let us in to drink. Totally crazy. The football team, so Marshall University, you might have seen that movie, We Are Marshall. They've got quite the legacy as a football team. And when I was there, it was like they were the winningest team of the 90s. Which is kind of funny, but Randy Moss and Chad Pennington played there at the same time when I went to school there. So it was super fun. Like we were just the winning team and we had a blast. But anyway, that was great to be able to just randomly be that close and not even realize it when we booked it, but I got to go visit and have some fun that way. So we did that, but when we were in Gandyville, this is a digital nomad tip. And this is on my TikTok too, if you want to go check it out. We message Airbnbs beforehand always and say, can you please send us a speed test of the internet speed? Because both of us work online. We have to do Zoom meetings. We need it to be super fast, reliable internet. So usually places will come back with a picture of a speed test and then I can feel comfortable going. Sometimes they'll say, no, I don't have a speed test, and we'll just like move on to the next because it's just so stressful to be places and not have internet access when you're trying to work. So anyway, this woman was super nice. She said we could come early. She also said she didn't have a speed test, but that the internet was excellent and no one had ever complained about it. So I was like, oh my gosh, all right. It was cheap, it seemed like it was going to be a good option until we were supposed to go to Niagara Falls, where we are now. But anyway, we got there, and guess what? The internet was terrible. It was so bad. It was so slow. I tried to do a Zoom meeting. I couldn't even, it was just terrible. I couldn't connect with my client. I had to like revert over to a phone call, which thank God is still allowed due to COVID. Side note, it wasn't always allowed, and it probably won't be after this pandemic. The PHE has expired in the United States. A lot of the insurance companies and licensing boards did not consider telephone sessions therapy. So you might want to just pay attention to that. A lot of us have been using a lot of alternative methods as telehealth providers, but that's not really an acceptable thing in normal times. So anyway, so the internet was terrible, and luckily about 4 or 5 months before that, Ken and I bought this Solus Sky Room from Best Buy because they were sold out on Amazon. So we bought this thing, and it's basically like a little mobile hotspot next door. So there was a T-Mobile cell tower right behind this farmhouse. We had excellent connection after that. This thing is really amazing. I don't know how, I don't know how it's going to work everywhere else, but for us, it worked pretty well. I think it was like 40 up and 30 down for the connection. Normally, anything less than 20 is terrible. So this really was a good solution for us. You're able to buy it on an hourly basis, so it's $1 for an hour. And, a few times I had like 3 clients in a row, so I would just hop on the Solus. I'd buy 4 hours because I didn't want it to run out in the middle of a session and just, pay for the hourly rate, $1, and it's like perfect connection. I didn't have to worry about anything. So that is an excellent solution. We've since turned it off. You don't have to activate it or deactivate it. You just turn it on when you want to use this thing. So this is like a gold mine for us. It's going to really fill the gaps where we're in these places where the internet is not that excellent. So I wanted to pass that on to you. I did make a TikTok about that too, if you're following me on TikTok. Okay, so I highly recommend that. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you guys about? When I was in Chesapeake, I was able to hook up with my friend Janine Jacobs-Wolf. I don't know if you guys know her. She runs peer consultation groups for therapists. It's like a paid monthly consultation membership. It's excellent. I've met quite a few people that are actually members of her group and they just love it. It's so much support. So check her out, Janine Jacobs-Wolf. I got to go see her. She lives right in Virginia Beach, like 3 blocks from the beach, which was super fun for me because in the summers, we would drive from where we lived in the suburbs of Richmond down to Virginia Beach every couple of weeks. My dad was like a traveling salesman basically, and he would travel and work every week out of town. So he would come back on the weekends, but part of his territory was Virginia Beach. So we actually eventually got a condo down there where Dad could stay when he was traveling down there during the weeks. And then on the weekends and a couple weeks during the summer, we would go down and stay. So Virginia Beach was kind of like a second home for us. So I got to go over to Janine's house, see her house. It was so nice. And then we got to just walk around. We went to this restaurant called Rudy's that we always ate at when I was a kid. Her daughter's actually a waitress there now. We got to go there, have lunch. We came back. We swam in Janine's pool. We had some cocktails. And we just had just a great girls' day. So that was so much fun. That's one of the things I love so much about doing this digital nomad thing. I just get to visit people that I know are in different areas that I normally really wouldn't get to see, if we were just living stationary in Florida or something like that. So that was really fun. What else did we do? In Williamsburg, we were visiting my dad. We went to like a go-karts and water motorboats place with all the nephews, which was so much fun. We got to ride roller coasters and race go-karts. And, those little boats where they turn on the power and they're like bumper boats and you shoot each other with water. So we got to do that. That was really fun. And then, after we were in Gandyville, we left there and now we just got to Niagara Falls. We're staying here for a week. So much fun. Ken's mother flew in and she's staying with us this week. So we're just going around exploring Niagara Falls. Tomorrow, we're going to go across what they call the Rainbow Bridge and walk into Canada. We're going to go over to Niagara on the Lakes, which is this really cute little town with lots of shops and wineries. And we're just going to go exploring all around Canada tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. That should be really fun. And then after that, we booked a place in Vermont, and then we're going to Bar Harbor, Maine, and then Portland, Maine, and then we're going to work our way down and be back in Florida for October 1st for our monthly rental that we booked right on the ocean down in Jensen Beach, Florida, which is gorgeous. If you've not been there, I recommend it. It's like all the beautiful water colors of South Florida without all of the craziness that comes with South Florida. And if you've been there, you know what I mean. It's like super peaceful there. So we're really looking forward to that. We got a place like right on the ocean overlooking the water. It's going to be beautiful. So that's my 6-month update. I hope some of this stuff helps you, some of these tips, mainly that Sky Room has been a total game changer. I really recommend it. And, if you got any ideas about these expensive Airbnbs, let us know because, I'm always looking for the better, cheaper way to do things. This has been working out pretty well. And I don't know. I mean, I just saw a news report today that house prices have dropped significantly. This inflation thing has just been driving up prices, I think. So maybe the Airbnbs are going to become more reasonable. I'm really hoping that. And, maybe the consumer can dictate prices a little bit more. That's my hope anyway with this whole thing. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated. As I said in my last episode, we can't even imagine going back to a life of just like renting or owning a place permanently right now because we're just having so much fun exploring. So I'll keep you updated. I'll be back in a month to let you know how everything's going and where we've been. And until then, have fun. I hope you guys are traveling some. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Therapist podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to thetravelingtherapist.com, where you'll be able to learn more about my journey, the courses I've created for you, and other exciting resources to make your dreams become a reality. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your traveling therapist friends, subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.